Good evening. My name is Diana Reimer. I'm co-founder of Philadelphia Tea Party Patriots. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. My thanks to the volunteers and organizers for making tonight's District 13 Congressional debate possible. Our thanks to the Congressional District 13 candidates for accepting our invitation for this debate. Thank you to the Quality Inn, Conference Center, and Village Caterers for the venue this evening. And I'd like to introduce our moderator, Steve Highsmith. Steve is My Philly 17's Director of Community Relations, host of My Philly 17's Community Affairs program entitled In Focus, and host of NBC 10 at Issue. Steve?
Thank you, Diana. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 13th District Republican Congressional Debate. It's good to have you here. It is great that citizens take the time out of their lives and their schedules to care about their community and their country and be here. I saw some of you last week at our governor's forum, and it was great, and it is great to see you again today. I do have one bit of unusual, well, let's say, request to put to you, and that is, this is a really grassroots effort on the part of the Philadelphia Tea Party Patriots and the loyal opposition and other groups, and I have been informed by them that they have incurred an unexpected expense. And so think of this as church. And you don't have to, but there will be a little tray, an offering plate, so to speak, that is passed around because the microphone system and the whole audio system actually cost several $100s in expense that was not expected. And they don't do it for me, but do it for yourselves and do it for the folks that put this together. And if you can spare anything and help out and defray the costs, that's what grassroots is all about. And so I'm sure that the sponsors would appreciate it. While you're doing that, let me just give you some of the basics. I'll give you some basics of what we're going to do with things. We do want to take one moment, I don't know where the offering plate is, and just kind of hold on to that, if you will. If you could please join me now and address the flag. Please stand, and as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may resume passing around the plate. Well, again, thank you for taking part in this debate. On May 18th, next Tuesday, voters will go to the polls and have a lot of important decisions to make. Decisions in the governor's race, the Democratic primary, the Republican primary. There are 4 candidates and 2 candidates, respectively, for governor. There are the Senate races with Sestak Inspector and with Lexington Toomey. There are state legislative races. There are all sorts of decisions that have to be made. But for folks in Montgomery County and part of Northeast Philadelphia, for example, there is a big decision to make about who they think should represent that district themselves in Congress. And the current occupant of that office is Allison Schwartz. She's a Democrat. Republicans are going to choose which candidate they think is best to take on Allison Schwartz in the poll. And that is the purpose of this Republican congressional debate, and that is to display the 3 candidates and to ask questions of them and let you hear their responses, and then you as voters make up your mind next Tuesday. Here's how it's going to work. Each candidate is going to get 2 minutes for an opening statement, 2 minutes, and 3 minutes for a closing statement. Now, this is a debate. Questions have been prepared by the sponsors. There are about a dozen of them that I have been asked to ask. I will read them. I reserve the right to follow up and clarify, but will lean toward refraining from doing that most of the time. However, I will enforce the rules as I have been asked to do so. And if in my estimation any candidate has been directly criticized by another, not on policy but personally, I will give the offended party an opportunity to respond out of the normal process. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but nonetheless that seems to be the fair thing to do. I will alternate questions based on domestic and foreign policy. Now, after that, audience questions will be used, and we will ask as many of them as possible. We do have a time where we have to be out of the room, and we'll take that as long, and the candidates have agreed to stay the full length. Now, in addition to that, you might ask, well, I've already seen the questions. There must be 30 questions in there already. We're not going to get through 30. So what I'll do, if there are similar ones, we'll group them together, and then I'll also mix in for variation to get some different range of topics over the handful of questions from the public that we will have time for. The directness candidates in answering the question, I'm sure, will be appreciated by the audience. I've been encouraged to ask you to say yes or no when appropriate, and to be direct in your responses. Now, how will you know when time is up? You get 90 seconds, we're going to rotate around. So in other words, Mr. Adcock will start, and then we'll go down the line. The first responder to a question gets 90 seconds. The responders to that each will get 60 seconds. The timing will be done by a couple of us, including Rob at the front. I always call everybody Roy. But Rob, it's an old country song thing. But anyway, Rob will hold up a card when there's about 10 seconds to go. So let's say, for example, we're 80 seconds into our 90-second response. You will do what, Rob? Perfect. The candidate shall see it and respond accordingly.